Black Sky.
Hello, this is Dmytro Antoniuk from Black Sky. We have a brand new site which address is www.blacksky.info. So you are very welcome to visit our site and to keep a close eye on what is happening in our region. I am from Ukraine, from Kyiv. What is happening in Kyiv, in Ukraine, with this war with Russia? What is happening in Belarus, ruled by dictator Lukashenko? What is happening in Poland? And what is happening generally? What is the situation with the war in Iran, etc., etc.? We have a big and what is more important, very professional team of experts. And today I have this is the first time that I am doing a so-called digest of what we have prepared for you. The article, the investigations of our journalists, our experts. So the first article is about the relationships. This is the article by Artur Żak. It's about the relationships between Ukraine and Iran. It all started from the very tragic feature and mainly the shutting down of a plane of Ukrainian International Airlines Flight PS752 en route from Tehran to Kyiv. That happened on January 2012. I'm sorry, 2020, 6 years ago. And at first, Iranian authorities they declined our claims that the plane was shot down by a missile, but then they recognized that, and it started a very, very long process in the international courts that is still going on today. And this article by Artur Żak is about mainly this process, what happened in January 2020, and how Ukraine and other countries, including Canada, Sweden, and United Kingdom, acted alongside Ukraine in this court investigation. And then this article tells us what is happening nowadays from the beginning of full-scale invasion of Russia against Ukraine, and how Iran actually backs up Russia. There is also an information about the diplomatic relationship between Iran and Ukraine, that there was a proposition of in 2022, in October 2022, by back then a Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dmytro Kuleba, to seize all the relationships between our countries. And there is also an information about what Iran has been given to Russia in order to help Putin to continue this war against Ukrainians. According to this article, Iran not only gave the main weapon, which is one of the most important nowadays. Mainly, this is so-called Shahed drone, or in Russian classification, it is Gerain. And today we are witnessing these drones and the impact they have during the war in Iran and neighboring countries. But also there is an information in this article by Artur Żak that if Iran has been given to Russia also ballistic missiles. And namely, he says that Reuters reported on the delivery of about 400 Fateh 110 and Zalfagar missiles, which were transported in particular via the Caspian route, Caspian Sea. And also he says that Ukraine tried to bomb a Russian arsenal and Russian ports on that sea. So, and to conclude this article, Artur Żak says that in May 2023, Ukraine approved sectorial sanctions against Iran for 50 years. And this year in February, President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, announced the recognition of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization. And then the same did European Union. So that is the article by Artur Żak. The tragedy over Tehran was just the beginning. Then we have an interesting interview done by Svetlana Mialek, another of our team of experts, another one. This is called "What is the real reason for blocking Telegram in Russia?" This mainly concentrates on the issue of this application Telegram, which is widespread in post-Soviet countries, including Russia in the first place and Ukraine. This is the interview with Igor Roskladai, Deputy Director of the Center of Democracy and Rule of Law, Chief Expert on Media Law and Content Moderation on Social Networks. So it is mainly about the attempts of Russia to block entirely or partially this very popular messenger. And in the first place, this is the messenger, right? Because Telegram, which is interesting in English-speaking countries, is not so widely spread, we should say. But in post-Soviet countries, as I've mentioned, majority of the population of our people uses this messenger because it really is very useful and very easy in usage, in use. So Igor Roskladai tells us that is it possible to entirely block this messenger, and that really it's not so, because a lot of Russians already are using so-called VPNs, or the routes to avoid this blockage of the messenger. That was already evident with such an example as Threads or from Meta. because Russians, common Russian people, they use that application as well, avoiding this official Russian blockade. It's this interview. In this interview, Igor Roskladai says that Russia tries to imply a new stately owned messenger, which is called Max. And this messenger is very similar to and is the closest analog to WeChat. WeChat is the Chinese messenger, which is entirely, totally controlled by the government of Chinese government. So so nowadays Russia is trying to do the same thing, to implement this new messenger, which is called Max, and to control the population of Russia. But and it says in this interview that majority of the population of Russia still uses Telegram, and this would be not an easy task. Also, there is a talk about Telegram in Ukraine, and Igor Roskladai says that more than 80% of Ukrainians, and even could be more than that, also use the Telegram messenger. Which is not a very good thing for Ukrainian security, because again, through this messenger, which was created by Durov, a Russian who supposedly is a oppositioner, Russian secret service can control what is happening on territory of Ukraine. And again, we already are facing threats through the Telegram messenger when Russians try to get new spies among Ukrainians, and this became already a very big problem. So this was an interview by Svetlana Myalik with Igor Roskladai, which is called "What is the real reason for blocking Telegram in Russia?" So the real reason, in just a few words, is to control entirely and totally the population of Russia. Then another another article about Telegram is done by, again, Artur Żak, and here he gives the more detailed information about the topic, and but he also adds some interesting information about this matter, including the thing that Telegram is used by Russian army, and now this this attempt of Russian authorities to block it has already led to very big troubles for the military system of Russia, because at the tactical level, it is used. The Telegram is used to coordinate attacks, transmit orders, exchange intelligence, warn of threats, and adjust artillery fire-based and drone footage. So by blocking Telegram, Russian Federation shoots in its own leg, so to say, and already some pro-war propagandists, as Vladimir Solovyov, Russian #1 propagandist, state bluntly, communication on the front lines largely takes place only through Telegram. And the Fighter Bomber channel, also pro-Russian propagandist again channel, military channel, wrote even more bluntly that since the state cannot block Starlink for Ukrainians, it has decided to blind its own soldiers by blocking Telegram for them. Such reactions are not ideological heresy, but a sign that the logic of control by the services is in direct conflict with the operational needs of the army. Because Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin spokesman, says that he states that the very thesis that communication at the front is based on Telegram, he calls that impossible to imagine. So here we can see that Russian authorities try to fool actually people by saying, well, it's not Telegram is not something important. It's not so widely used. And that's why you should have Max instead. And also, Artur Żak tells us more about Max, state-run substitute to Telegram. So this was another article about this topic, Telegram under strict control. Okay, then we proceed to another interesting interview done by Paweł Bobołowicz with Mykhailo Honchar. Mykhailo Honchar is president of the Strategy 21 Global Studies Center and editor-in-chief of Black Sea Security magazine. In this interview, they mainly concentrate on, they mainly focus on the Druzhba oil pipeline. Druzhba meaning friendship. It's an old Soviet pipeline that used to import Russian, or back then Soviet, oil to the countries of Central and Eastern Europe. And here Paweł Bobołowicz asks Mykhailo Honchar about the reactions on the part of Hungary and Slovakia on the bombardment of this pipeline, and what they are trying to, how they try to pressure Ukraine to renew the work of this pipeline, which has been severely damaged by Russian ballistic missiles, and that happened in the beginning of this year. And Mykhailo Honchar tells us that in Brody, we have, this is the west of Ukraine, we have a facility, a dispatch station, and it is the most powerful station on the Ukrainian section of the Druzhba pipeline, which actually pumps this oil. And then he says that the strike on the largest tank in Brody not only caused a fire that lasted for 10 days and burnt out the oil in the tank, but also practically destroyed it, and it is no longer usable. But the entire system that transports oil has also been damaged, and it is very difficult now to say whether it will take a week or weeks, months, or maybe a year to restore it. And in this interview, Mykhailo Honchar says that Hungarian and Slovakian authorities, namely Orban and Fico, they absolutely ignore this this fact that this pipeline has been hit by Russians, and they demand Ukraine to renew the imports of Russian oil through this Druzhba pipeline. Otherwise, they blackmail Ukraine by cutting off the electricity supplies that we desperately needed. Now, when we record this this digest, the situation has slightly changed, but still we have the power cuts in Ukraine and electricity shortages, and this demand by Hungary and Slovakia to restore pipeline is actually a blackmail. So he says also, Mykhailo Honchar in this interview also says that as long as Ukraine and also these countries in like Hungary and Slovakia are the members of mutual in the European energy system, it is not so easy, if not impossible at all, in Budapest and Bratislava to switch off this power supplies, these additional power supplies to Ukraine. So he says that this is doubtful whether it's possible or not. And then in the second half of this very long and interesting interview, Mykhailo Honchar also tells us the story about another pipeline, which goes from Kazakhstan via Russia and has a port to export Kazakhstan oil through Black Sea, has a port in Novorossiysk and in Taman ports on Russian Black Sea coast. And that Americans are very concerned about Ukrainian strikes on that ports. And they say that they suffer losses. And because Chevron, American company, has a share in owning this oil, and Mr. Honchar says that it is not entirely true that American side has suffered losses. They simply will not receive certain revenues. And he says that recently Chevron said that they had some revenues, and then he stresses that now American side witnessed the reality when these ports have been have been hit by Ukrainian drones or Ukrainian missiles, because Americans knew that they should have look for other ways of transporting oil from Kazakhstan. But this way, this route was the easiest and the cheapest. So now they face the consequences of their decisions. So this was a Mykhailo Honchar interview. Then very shortly, there is a short story about the new ambassador of Russia in Poland. Namely, his name is Georgy Mikhno. And what happened with previous Russian ambassador in Poland, because there were some very bad. There was some bad blood between Russian and Polish authorities, namely after previous ambassador Andreev claimed in one of the interviews that Poland is partially responsible for the start of for the beginning of Second World War. And also in this short article, there is information about Georgy Mikhno, who he actually is. Okay. The next story is about Ukrainian sanctions against Lukashenko, the Belarusian dictator. This article is by Andrus Gayovy, and it focuses on the recent sanctions. On February 18, Volodymyr Zelensky enacted the decision which provides for the imposition of personal sanctions against Alexander Lukashenko. It has 17 the list contains 17 restrictive measures, and Andrus Gayovy says that, well, in reality, these sanctions, they don't really affect Belarusian dictator. But then he he concludes this article by saying that these sanctions, they have they should remind the world of the role that Lukashenko and his regime played and still plays in the war of Russia against Ukraine. It should remind people, these sanctions, they should remind people that Lukashenko and his regime, they are co-aggressors. And by the way, Lukashenko told that himself in one of in some of his interviews. And to conclude our digest, there is another interview on this particular topic, interview by Svetlana Myalek with Yevhen Magda. Ukraine has blacklisted Lukashenko. This is the interview with Yevhen Magda, who is a director of the Institute of World Policy. And he also commented on Ukraine's decision to impose sanctions against Lukashenko in this interview. And to say it shortly, he also stresses that these sanctions should remind us that Lukashenko is co-aggressor. He shares the responsibility of this aggression done by Russians against Ukraine. So this was a digest, English language digest of our articles on the site blacksky.info. You can visit this site and see for yourself. Thank you very much. My name is Dmytro Antoniuk, and see you soon.